Welcome to Intersections. I am so pleased to welcome to our set today Steve and Sarah Hawco. They've been married for about 7 years now, and we've known Sarah forever, but we're getting to know Steve. Sarah, as I've said, was raised here in St. John's Citadel. Steve has come to us from a different faith tradition, and he'll talk a little bit about that in a few moments. Sarah, would you share with our viewing audience something about the connections you have to St. John's Citadel, the impact they've had on your life, the kinds of activities you've done while as you grew up and went through the St. John's Citadel program?
Sure. So my family came to St. John's Citadel when I was 5 years old, which I won't tell you how long ago that was, but 35 plus years ago. And I was just, again, like a small child coming into the program and to the various programs we had here and into church here. Church was always a very important part of my family, and we were always here on Sundays. My parents always participated, and I really grew up here at St. John's Citadel, and I grew up through all the different programs that we normally go through. But I think more importantly, it's where I kind of got my spiritual foundation and where I learned those first the first things we learn about our Christianity, about God, about the Bible. I learned it really here at St. John's Citadel. I would say that my peer group, the majority of my peer group, or my closest peer group growing up, was here part of St. John's Citadel. My friends at church were also often my friends outside these walls and in school, and so we were all really well connected, and we had a really large group of teens that went through the program. And then, or went through church and went through things here. And then when I went to university, that kind of expanded into, a whole nother group of people. But again, people that I had connections with because of my start here at St. John's Citadel and growing up. And I would say a lot of who I am beyond, obviously who I am as a Christian, I think I contribute to my growing up here and the people who mentored me here at St. John's Citadel, the people who took time to teach me and to be part of my life. But I also, I think there's a lot of other things that I learned. I had so many opportunities in terms of leadership and learning how to be a leader, and things that I've taken with me to even go outside of my life here into my life at work and outside of that.
So you've gone on through all the stages of life, and now you're in adulthood and you're still here at the Citadel.
Yeah.
What kind of activities are you engaged in here at this point in time?
So for many years I was the Sunday school coordinator here at St. John's Citadel, and last year I ended up resigning in that position because of some other things that I was working on. But currently I am chairing the youth program committee here at St. John's Citadel, which looks at what we offer, how we reach our families, what we do for our younger congregation members.
Thank you. So Steve, catch us up on your background and your formative years, and then how you came to St. John's Citadel and what you found as a way to participate here at St. John's Citadel.
So I grew up in neighborhood of Cowan Heights, went to Catholic school, St. Matthew's, and that's where our parish was at the time, in the school gym, because we didn't have a church. So that was really my first visions of a church, was in a gym, right? We just set up chairs and that. So that's where we worshiped for many, many years. With the Catholic Church, is a lot more structured. There wasn't a lot of group activities in our group, so a lot of the kids in that did not really do much outside of church together, right? So towards the end of the disbanding of that church, I got into the worship or choir part of the group. I enjoyed that part. But once the church disbanded, due to lack of funds and that, and everybody dispersed to their different parishes throughout the Avalon, I sort of lost my way and didn't really have a place to call home. So I spent about 13, 14 years with no real church to go to. Occasionally I went to a few church services at Christmas and that with my mom and that. But until I met Sarah and that and got in here at the Citadel, I sort of started going to church here with her and started liking the worship team, getting interested in that, and understanding the sound room and stuff like that. So I really got interested in that and got on board doing those things on a Sunday morning. And
Sometimes you're just flitting about, doing all kinds of connections and
Yes.
leveling and all kinds of stuff to keep the
keep
operation going.
That's the way I
right?
like it, be in the background.
Good
No
for
one
you.
really paying attention to me, which is the way I like it.
And the other thing I think you're involved in is we have a committee structure here.
Yes.
So I think you're a member of one of those
I'm
committees.
member of the business committee.
The
Yeah.
business
Yeah.
committee, right?
Business
So
committee.
that's trying to keep us really straight.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
Well, good luck
So,
with that.
No, thanks.
Good luck with that, okay? So, all right, let's switch a little bit. You're both in the workforce. Steve, you I think are in management with a local company. Can you tell us a little bit about you that way? What you do?
Yeah, I'm a project manager, senior estimator with a construction company here in Newfoundland.
Okay.
So my day-to-day.
Is that a busy time, or is that driven largely by economy?
It's
or-
driven by the economy, but there's always stuff to bid on and, work to do. But
Yep.
So I'm kept going,
Good for you.
managing jobs
Excellent.
around town and that.
Good.
Yeah.
Sarah, I know you've done training in the health field. Can you elaborate on that, what it is, the kinds of things you do?
Sure. I'm an occupational therapist. I work in community health. So my days are spent going to people's homes and working with them on things like home accessibility, managing their own care needs, helping connect them to community services that they might need. It's really about connecting people to what they need, yeah.
You found COVID challenging in that respect?
Yes, yeah, very early on it was extremely challenging, and my team was part of the front line, so we didn't see a change in what we did. We just really had to change how we did things and our processes, and the challenges of PPE and managing, not just our own fears, but the fears of our clients, because we were
Right.
going into their homes.
Of course.
So every single time there's a wave, we just learn a little bit more, and we just shift again, and we always just keep on going, doing what we're doing, and sometimes it just looks a little different.
Okay. So, but you're doing all of that stuff. You've got a home that you both look after, and a relationship that you nurture, both of you. And you seem to have a little bit of time for something else going on in your life at the moment.
Yeah, so I'm currently, I've returned to school. I actually started during the first COVID wave, so that was another piece to the puzzle, I guess, during COVID. But I've returned I do an online program. It's a doctorate program in rehabilitation and health leadership. So I'm 2 years in now, and hopefully just one more year left.
Wow. Wow. Well,
Everybody
yep.
hopes it's just one more year left.
Well, I'm sure you'll navigate that just fine. So the name of this program is Intersections. All kinds of them in our lives, but the one that we really want to come and bring into focus is our life-faith intersection. Can you talk a little bit about how you see faith playing out in your lives daily? And we'll give you a first kick at that, Shara.
Sure. I think Steve and I, very early in our relationship, when we started talking about getting married and those things, some of the conversations we had were very much about where would we attend church and what would that look like for us? Because, we both grew up in environments that were in households that went to church and participated in church. And so what would that look like? And for us, St. John Citadel was a place that I'd always called home. And I had family here, and beyond having literal kind of my immediate family here, St. John Citadel has a sense of community for us. So the people who are here, are our family, and we have people here who are our friends, people who we care about, people who care about us. And that, I think, is that community is what really is important to us, and living out that our faith with this community is important. Beyond that, I think Steve and I have always sort of looked at how we look at our household, and how the decisions we make always comes back to our faith. So we often, we really enjoy opening up our home to other people. Now that's been limited because of COVID, but we enjoy that, and so we believe that that's an important part of our faith, is reaching out to others that way. We make decisions on our finances based on what we think we are meant to do with those things and how we are meant to be best stewards of that money. You know, how we spend our time, the things that we do is very much based on what we believe and what our faith tells us that, you know, what we should be contributing to and how we should be using our time, and, you know, and what's most valuable.
So that's how it looks for you plural, in your joint areas. How does that play out for you on a daily basis, Steve?
Well, mainly mine is, I find faith intersects a lot with my work and that, and just like acting honestly and stuff like that, right? Sarah took most of what I was going to say, but anyway.
Life's like that.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
It's just more my integrity, acting honestly, doing the right thing. That's the sort of things that play out in my mind every day, just every decision.
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
Because there are things that come along in all walks of life that, you know, there's a fork in the road. You can go this way, or you can go that way. And for those that, you know, there are some very fine people out there who may not have a faith walk. They are the people of integrity, however, and they will choose to do whatever the right thing is in that instance. The faith dimension speaks to us all, those of us that walk that way or try to. The faith element speaks into our lives in terms of how we conduct it, and it just accentuates the kinds of things I think that you've been speaking of. Anything else, Darren?
I think too, you know, Steve and I both work in areas where, you know, within a certain reason, it might not be the environment where you can necessarily go in and preach what, you know what I mean? Like, I have certain clients I wouldn't be able to do that with. Steve has environments where it's not probably appropriate to do that.
Of course.
But it's really interesting because I think our coworkers, and I know that Steve's coworkers and my coworkers are both aware of what our beliefs are, I think, just by the way we've lived out our lives. And I've had coworkers who've said to me, like, I don't know what church is like for you. Like, I've never had that experience. And so sharing that it's not just church, it's about having a faith. It's not about the building, it's about having a belief system. That's something I think, so it's not always necessarily, we don't always have the ability to vocalize it, or preach it, but I think it's how we act and treat other people.
You know, I think some of the research that's been done over the years on evangelism, since it's a word that you used, it's not always having to be an evangelical paratrooper, you know, coming in with both boots coming in and saying, you know, da-dum, here it is. Rather, it's lifestyle evangelism, and people see something different in you and are attracted to that difference, whatever that is. And we know that that difference is the presence of God in our lives, right? So, well, thank you for sharing some time with us today, and with the viewing audience, a little bit about who you are and your faith walk. Congratulations on all the good things that are happening in your lives, and best wishes for the future.
Thank you.
Thank you.